The scent of lavender lingered in the air, mixing with the traces of whatever fragrant oils they'd used at the spa she'd been raving about for weeks. There was something different about her, a certain glow that hadn't been there in months. Her cheeks were flushed, and her eyes were bright with an energy I hadn't seen in ages. It was as if she had plugged herself into something, recharged with an energy I couldn't name but suspected I didn't want to know about. "How was it?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady and neutral as she floated past me, humming a tune I didn't recognize. "It was divine," she replied, her voice glowing with enthusiasm. "Absolutely divine, Colton." She tossed her purse onto the kitchen counter with the ease of someone used to doing it. "They have this incredible facial massage. I swear it took 10 years off my face. You should try it sometime." I watched her, narrowing my eyes, trying to push down the cold knot of suspicion in my stomach. Was it really just a spa day, or was it 10 years of guilt wiped clean? I'd been feeling it for weeks, the late nights at work, the whispered phone calls, the way she flinched when I touched her. All of it pointed to something I wasn't ready to face but could no longer deny. So I did what I had to do. I hired a private investigator. The report was a punch to the gut, pictures, dates, times, all laid out in grim detail. The man she'd been with wasn't anyone I knew. Just a younger guy from the gym, the kind of guy who probably made her feel young again. I'd spent the last few days carefully thinking about how to respond. I wanted to focus my anger, control it. I wasn't going to yell, I wasn't going to beg. I just wanted her to understand, to feel the sting of betrayal I'd been living with. "I'm glad you had fun," I said, forcing a smile that felt more like a grimace. "I actually made us dinner." She seemed surprised. "Usually, I'm the one ordering takeout." "Oh, that's sweet," she replied, her voice too sweet, too insincere. "What did you make?" I gestured toward the dining room. Table was set with our finest china, silver gleaming under the soft glow of candles. Her favorite flowers were in the center. Everything was perfect. She gasped when she saw it, her eyes wide. "Colton, this is beautiful," she said, her tone softening, almost apologetic. For a moment, I almost believed her. "Come sit," I said, pulling out her chair. She took a seat, a mix of awe and apprehension in her eyes. The only thing on the table was a covered platter. "I made something special just for you," I said, my voice tight, each word carefully measured, as I lifted the cover with a flourish. Underneath, there was no gourmet meal, no fancy dish. It was the investigator's report, neatly laid out on a large platter. The photos were arranged on top, her and the other man embracing in various poses, a grotesque collage of her betrayal. Her face drained of color as she stared at the evidence. Her breath came in short, shallow gasps. She covered her mouth with one manicured hand, eyes wide in horror. What is this?" she whispered. "It's a summary of your spa day, Melissa," I said calmly, my voice steady but cold. "Or should I say your gym day? You know, the one where you worked out so hard with that personal trainer of yours?" Her knees buckled and she collapsed to the floor. Her legs gave way. She reached out toward me, her eyes full of terror. "Colton, please, it's not what it looks like," she begged, her voice trembling. "You don't understand." "Oh, I think I understand perfectly," I said, my voice now icy. "I understand that you've been lying to me for months, that you've been sleeping with another man while I've been here, working my ass off to provide for you. I understand that you're a complete fraud." Tears welled up in her eyes and black mascara streaked down her face. She was a mess, a pathetic, broken thing. For a fleeting moment, I almost felt sorry for her. But that pity quickly turned into searing anger, one I couldn't quite suppress. "I'm so sorry, Colton. So sorry," she cried, crawling toward me. Her voice was desperate. "I don't know what I was thinking. Please, please forgive me." I stood, towering over her, the rehearsed words flowing from me as if I had been saying them in my mind for days. I felt oddly detached, like I was watching the scene unfold from the outside. "Forgive you," I said, my voice dripping with disdain. You think an apology is going to fix this? That you can just say sorry and everything goes back to normal? This isn't a TV show, Melissa. This is real life, and you've just destroyed everything we had. I walked into the living room, grabbed a file from the coffee table, and held it up. I've already spoken to my lawyer, I said, my tone unwavering. I've filed for divorce. You'll be served tomorrow. I want you out of this house by the end of the week. I've already packed a few of your things. Her sobs turned into full-blown wails, her body shaking violently. She looked at me with red, swollen eyes. But where will I go? That's not my problem anymore, I said, turning my back on her. You should have thought about that before you decided to betray me. She continued to cry, but I didn't look back. I walked into the kitchen, poured myself a generous glass of whiskey, and took a long drink. As I stood there, watching her through the archway sobbing on the floor next to the dining table, I realized something. I don't feel anything anymore. The rage, the pain, it was all gone, replaced by a strange emptiness. It was a hollow victory, but it was a victory nonetheless. She had come home glowing, thinking she had gotten away with it. But now her world was crashing down, and she had no one to blame but herself. I took another sip of whiskey and walked toward the bedroom. I didn't dare look at her again. Her sobs echoed through the house, but I didn't acknowledge them. I closed the door behind me, and the sound of her wailing was the last thing I heard from our marriage.